Thanks, Tatiana Sanchez. Well, university is an experience that enhances the learning, the lives and the prospects of many young adults. It involves classes, lectures and direction of studies, as well as a period spent in the company of other students and teachers, which can enhance social skills. Oxford Brookes University student Harry Portillo Heathcote thought that those would be his experiences when he began a degree course in law and business in 2020. But having started his studies during lockdown, his course actually comprised a set of pre-recorded YouTube lectures and textbooks to be read in lockdown student halls. Harry is now one of 100,000 members of student group Claim, who landed University College London in the High Court this week, the largest ever case brought against Britain's universities. The hearing concluded on Wednesday with Judge Barbara Fontaine saying she would give a written ruling at a later date. I'm joined now by Harry Portillo Heathcote and lawyer Richard Dunleavy, who's a partner at Harkers Parker, one of the two law firms enlisted to deal with the case. Harry, welcome to GB News. Tell me about your university experience. What was unsatisfactory about it?
Well, it was sort of unsatisfactory from the get-go. We arrived, we had sort of 2 weeks before we were all sent into lockdown. And then we was, put onto the YouTube videos, weekly Zoom calls with our lecturers. And, well, we were kept in halls as well. So it wasn't really a university experience.
Some people would say the universities did whatever they could. The lockdown came, it was a matter of law. We were all obliged to stay at home. Classes and lectures could not continue. Are you saying that what they did was an unsatisfactory response to the pandemic, or are you simply saying that you should have your money back?
I'd say it's an unsatisfactory response to the pandemic. I think quite a lot of people join me in my view that they could have said, why don't we all wait a year until things are more settled and we've sort of got our act together a bit more, and then we can try this again. Because we got the sense they were very much making it up as they went along. And that's obviously not what we paid for. Yes.
If this case was successful, what do you hope you would get? I mean, is it as simple as saying your money back or much of your money back?
Well, we're not asking for all of our money back because obviously the university has eventually provided us with the education we wanted, although it's happened 2 years later than I'd originally hoped. So we're sort of asking for a fraction of what we paid back. Which I believe is wholeheartedly reasonable.
And is there a danger that if you do get some of your money back, that you will impoverish the universities, which will then be less able to provide education to the students who follow you?
Not at all. The universities, I think, I might be wrong on this, but I read somewhere that universities across the UK are sitting on £44 billion worth of profit from the pandemic. So I think, a fraction of what students have paid in tuition fees will be a drop in the ocean of that sum.
Richard, what was the significance of the case in the High Court this week? As I understand it was brought against University College London, but that was presumably a symbolic or lead or specimen case.
It wasn't a test case as such, but it will set a precedent for the other cases. So essentially the significance was all the universities so far are saying the students shouldn't have access to the courts. They should all be forced to go into or strongly encouraged to go into the internal complaints procedures of the universities themselves. Now, these are universities that have denied all liability to pay any compensation, and they want to be both the defendant and the judge. So no one in law can force the students to do this, but the universities are using this as spoiler tactics and delaying tactics by saying that the proceedings should be halted until the students have actually been strongly encouraged to do that. And they've already been encouraged by the universities, and it's not a tempting offer. And many students have already been through the procedure before coming to us. So what happens with them? Do they not get access to the court as well?
We asked the Department for Education for a statement, and a spokesman commented, if any student is unhappy with the standard of education they're getting, they should take their complaints to the university. This sounds as though actually the government is on the side of the universities, because the university's argument is that internal complaints procedures should be used, not the law.
Yes, that is their argument. But at the same time, the government flip-flops. I mean, Gavin Williamson, for instance, when he was Education Secretary, was saying to the universities, get back to in-person teaching. These guys, the students are going to concerts, they're doing all sorts of things that they can do in groups. And the university just got addicted to online learning because if they're not restricted as to the number of students they can fit in a lecture theatre, they can take on more students. So, for instance, UCL made 41% more profit or more turnover from tuition fee revenue over this period than before. So they made loads more money. The first 18 universities we've looked at made more than £1 billion of profit over the pandemic period.
Well, on this programme, we have been following this case, and we will doubtless come back to it when we have that decision from the High Court. Meanwhile, thanks to Harriet Patano, Heathcote and